Hello gamers, and welcome back to another episode of Solo Spelunking. And today I'm pretty excited because I got something new to show you. Well, sort of new, because it is a symbiosis, if you will, a fusion of basically three things. The first one is the Shadowdark RPG, as you can see by this logo right here. The second thing that goes into this product are the mechanics and the streamlined mechanics of my, let me show you, my Shadowdark Adventures board game. And the third thing is the content adapted to Shadowdark of my Explorers of the Untamed Wilds game, which you can still get for free in the community tab of this channel. It's pretty far below because it's been a couple of months, but there I just checked the link yesterday. You should still be able to find the Google Docs link that leads to version 1.4 of this game. And what this game is, it is a streamlined, more, in my opinion, more fast-flowing, more fluent version. And so this is what I like to call a role-playing board, or a board RPG, a board game and a role-playing game hybrid, because it provides a structured framework on top of a role-playing game rule set that allows you to easily play a role-playing game, in this case Shadowdark, with a couple of friends cooperatively without the need of a GM. And I playtested this game 2 different sessions with 2 different friends, and it was pretty fun. And and I think it is ready now so that I can give it to you into your hands so that you can play it. I was working on this the last couple of weeks, refining things, tweaking things. As you can see, this is version 1.5. And I will showcase this game to you in this video and start a campaign that I will feature on this channel. But before I start with the actual gameplay, I will go through the document with you to give you more of an overview of what to expect. And if you're on the fence, if you should get this or not, I will enable also a pretty large, or pretty I don't want to sound stupid here, but a pretty generous preview. So the large preview will be 35 pages, so almost half the document, so that you can firsthand see the mechanics, the rules, and decide for yourself if this is something you would be interested in. Alright, so, and I will put a timestamp when the actual gameplay starts in this video's description, and when you see this video you will also be able to purchase this from DriveThruRPG. Of course, I will put the link also in the description. So, so you have a table of contents if you work with the PDF. It is, as always, hyperlinked, so you can just use the table of contents. And so first it starts with a simple rule set to create a random hex map. And if you follow this procedure, you will end up with a map that looks something like this. Of course, not like this because it's random, but you get an idea of how it might look like. So it features different terrain, plains and grassland, which are the blank hexes, woodland, swamp, hills, and mountains. And it features 3 towns that you randomly generate and 3 dungeons. and then you determine what I call the danger level for every region by rolling 1d3 plus 2, and plains and cities are always danger level 1, and dungeons, because this is where the end game is taking place, are always danger level 6. So you can see here these hills are danger level 2, these woods danger level 3, 3, 3, 3, 4, 4, and this danger level is the assumed or recommended average party level, and I am going by a party of 4 characters. So if you follow this procedure, this is what you do at the beginning of the game. You create your own little wilderness sandbox to play in, and then you will end up with a map like this, and this will be your game board where you move a token around to explore and go on quests and resolve encounters and stuff. So the first part of this document tells you how to create the map. And I put this map as an example map in this document as well. And then it tells you how to play, and this is what I mean with more streamlined compared to Explorers of the Untamed Wilds. Just like in the Shadowdark game, you follow a predetermined sequence of phases, and you just go through these phases every round. So one round represents one day in the game world, and the phases are the movement phase, which is optional. So you always have the option or the choice of staying in your current hex, whether it be a city, a dungeon, or a wilderness terrain. So at the start of your movement phase, you gain 4 movement points that you can spend. And if all of your party members should have a horse, you gain 6 movement points instead. And I streamlined it that the horse, even though it's not really realistic, you can use the horse in any terrain. So even if you're in mountains or swamp, you could still benefit from those 6 movement points. And that's different to Explorers of the Untamed Wilds. My line of thought here is that even though the horse is not really fast in this terrain, because it is unwieldy terrain, you could still use it, for example, to have the horse carry your stuff, and then you would travel lighter. So it's a game mechanic. So if you don't have a horse, you gain 4 movement points, and if everybody has a horse, and everybody needs a horse because, you know, weakest link, you don't want to split the party, you gain 6 movement points. And then you can use these movement points if you want to move across the map. And moving into a normal hex without special terrain is 1 movement point. Terrain is 2 movement points, except mountains. Mountains is 3 movement points. And you need to have enough movement points to enter a hex. If not, you can't enter that hex. So after you moved around, you go into the action phase. And in this phase, every hero in your party can take 1 action. So, and everybody can take a different action, and 2 people can also take the same action if they want. And the type of actions available to you depend on the location that you're currently in. And they're detailed in the action section of this document. So you in the town, you have other actions than in the wilderness, and in the dungeon, you even have also different actions. And I swapped phases compared to Shadowdark, so the action phase happens before the encounter phase, because in the action phase you could take certain actions, as you will see, that could prepare you for the encounters. So this is the reason for the switch around. And then every round you have to roll once on the encounter table, matching your current location, city, dungeon, or wilderness, and resolve an encounter. And then you go into the resting phase as the sun is about to set, and then you make camp. And also, I don't want to get into detail here, you will see this in gameplay. There's different rules depending if you're resting in a dungeon, wilderness, or city. But as you can see, there won't be much bookkeeping, I hope. All right, so then the document outlines the available actions, so I don't want to get into too much detail. I just want to highlight a couple of things that I think are pretty neat. So if you are in the wilderness, you have the action, of course, to forage for food and water, for herbs and crafting supplies, but also you can tend to your wounds, you can lift morale, but you can also take a reconnaissance action. And this states the character taking this action, and you choose which character takes the action. So it could be an ideal action for maybe a thief or a ranger. The character taking this action sneaks ahead and scouts out the area ahead. They must succeed at a DC 15 Dex and a DC 15 Wisdom check. If both checks are successful, roll twice during this encounter phase and choose the result. So this action gives you some more player agency, because of course there's a lot of randomness in this game. But if you're, for example, exploring a dungeon and you're looking for, and we get to the story, for the artifact that you need to retrieve, it is wise to have maybe like a thief or a scout ahead, so that you have some more agency when it comes to the encounters. So you can take this action in the wilderness or in a dungeon. Then the document details the available dungeon actions, which are not as many or not as numerous. So here you can also tend to wounds, lift morale, or do a reconnaissance. You can't obviously forage for stuff. And also in a dungeon, you don't have time to craft things or brew a potion because you were in a dungeon. So these actions are not available. Then just a short paragraph regarding combat. So basically it states it's resolved using standard Shadowdark rules, and you should use your best judgment and take the best actions for the enemies. And the hunter mode rules are in effect in this game, meaning you get XP for killing monsters as well, 1/2 level rounded down. And then it goes into the sidekick section, and I will detail this in my gameplay. So basically, if you don't want to play with 4 main characters or player characters, you can add a number of sidekicks, which are pretty simple characters, but I think they are flavorful, as you will see in my gameplay video. Then of course I talk about gaining experience. So you obviously have to, you start at level 1, and to be able to complete this adventure you obviously need levels and gear. So you gotta go on quests, and if you complete a quest, every character gains 4 XP. If you sell items and artifacts, for every 40 gold pieces you earn selling items, every party member gains 1 XP. Whenever a PC is reduced to 0 hit points and does not die but recovers, he gains, this individual PC, gains 1 XP because he survived this near-death experience. And the hunter mode rules are in effect. However, how I do it is, because sometimes if you have like 2 monsters level 3, so you would get 1 XP per monster, I will collect them in a pool until they can be evenly divided up between all party members. So for example, I would collect until I have like 4 or 8, and then everybody would get 2, so that they mostly level up at an even pace or at a synchronized pace. But of course you are free to, like always, change this however you want. So regarding treasure, I'm just going by the book here regarding Shadowdark. So 50% chance if you got wandering enemies. So after every non-beast, non-animal encounter with humanoids, monsters or undead, you roll, and if a treasure is dropped, you use the page in the Shadowdark RPG matching you the danger level of your environment and roll up a treasure. Then I detail something about checks, and then the notice board where you can pick up the quests, and you can have 3 active quests at a time. And then this is where basically all the action happens. And then we get into the encounter tables. Those are D20 encounter tables for every location. And yeah, because I don't, in this gameplay video, I don't want to like juggle through the PDF all the time. I printed only the encounter tables out, not the whole document yet, so that this hopefully moves a little smoother if I'm playing here on camera. So, and then basically, yeah, here we have the encounter tables if you encounter something while resting. So because if you encounter something while resting, these are always combat encounters. And when you complete your quest for Raliana the Wise, you end the adventure. You receive 10 XP per character, just in case you want to continue playing these characters in a regular Shadowdark campaign, and you get the title Defenders of the Shadowlands. It is bestowed upon you. So this is just a quick overview, and this concludes the overview. And now I will start the actual gameplay, which, let me check, so it is 15 minutes and 50 seconds. So at around 15:50 there will be the gameplay. Let me note this here, 15:50. All right, so let's start. I will read to you the story. The story so far. Life has always been harder and more demanding here at the edge of civilization, on the outermost border of the human, elven, and dwarven kingdoms. Ahead, the untamed wilds stretch out to the horizon. However, strange happenings in recent times have made the people uneasy. It started a few weeks ago at dusk. Out of the forest and hills, a strange fog-like darkness emerged and slowly crept into the surrounding lands. With the darkness came the creatures, the shadows, the monsters. Thankfully, with every rise of the sun, the darkness was driven back into the shadows of the hills and forests and remained there, until dusk at least, when this gruesome ritual started again. The people call this darkness the Shadowdark. The affected lands have become the Shadowlands, a dangerous wilderness which only the bravest of adventurers dare to venture through when the sun has set. Rumors have started to circulate. Rumors that speak of a demonic cult worshipping Shun the Vile. Rumor is that the Shadowdark was summoned by these cultists through ancient forbidden rituals, and that it gets stronger with every setting sun until it can't be driven back by the sun anymore. It is then when Shun the Vile will claim these lands for her faithful minions. But not all hope is lost. Raliana the Wise, a powerful sorceress, is in the process of researching a powerful counter-ritual that, when performed, will neutralize the power of the Shadowdark. She has made good progress so far, but to complete her research and to perform the ritual, she needs 3 artifacts. First, an ancient tome of forgotten knowledge, the Chronicles of Kelrush the Dark. Second, the arcane crystal of Valerian, a powerful spell focus that amplifies arcane energy. Third, the holy dagger of Saint Teragnes, a holy weapon which is needed to initiate the ritual. Raliana has put out a call to adventurers to acquire these artifacts for her, offering a hefty reward of 500 gold pieces for every artifact delivered. Retrieving these artifacts is no simple task, however, as they are hidden deep within 3 ancient dungeons scattered across the Shadowlands. You have followed the call to adventure and have arrived in the bustling frontier town of Cameron, where you prepare for your dangerous quest, ready to become the defenders of the Shadowlands. Alright, so obviously our objective is to retrieve these 3 artifacts, the MacGuffins, from these 3 dungeons, and in order to be able to do that, we need to get gear and gain levels. So let me introduce to you our party. And this will be my generic combat wilderness map if I'm like in the plains or forest and maybe swamps, I gotta see. And this, what you see here, is my marching order, and I will get into detail, but first let me introduce our protagonists, our characters that we will join in their quest in this series. So the main player hero is, of course, a human fighter with a street urchin background. No surprise there. His name is Rio. He is a fighter. He chose dexterity as his grit ability and dagger for his weapon mastery. And for talents, I rolled +1 AC from an armor type, and I chose leather armor because this is what I start with, and +1 to melee and ranged attacks. I do have a dagger and a short sword, as well as leather armor and a crawling kit and 5 gold pieces. And for character creation, I used my heroic character option that is detailed in this document. I will not go into detail here. You will see it in the document, and you can see it also in the preview. So this is the player character. The other 3 are sidekicks. And I mentioned that I think, of course, I think that, but I'm biased, that sidekicks are pretty flavorful. So sidekicks are simple characters. So it works like this. You get 1 stat at 14 and all other stats at 10. You can assign these stats as you like. And then you can choose from, I think, 4 or 5 options that give the sidekick a little flavor, and you get to pick or roll, depending on what you prefer, a background, which also, like normal Shadowdark rules, provides advantage if it's fitting for certain tasks. And so with these options and backgrounds, you can emulate certain character classes, and you will see what I mean if I go into details. So this lovely woman right here, that is Ariane, and she's an elf. So and I picked the background Wizard's Apprentice and the spellcasting option for sidekicks, and she's an elf, and I picked +1 to spellcasting because sidekicks, they do get the ancestry abilities, but they do not have talents. So she, and I chose 14 for her intelligence, so she's got a +3 for her casting rolls because of her ancestry. She starts with 2 spells that she knows, Magic Missile and Sleep. She has a staff, and because she's not a real mage but a sidekick, she also wears leather armor, has a staff, her leather armor, and a crawling kit, leaving her with 1 slot to spare. So that is Ariane, the elf wizard, basically, the sidekick wizard. This lovely woman here is Elira Shadow, my sidekick thief. So she's also an elf. As her option, I picked the dual wielding option, which means basically just you start with 2 one-handed melee weapons and you roll damage with advantage. So there are no double attacks here in Shadowdark. I wanted to stick true to the design principle of 1 attack per round, so you just roll damage with advantage. And so she has Thieves Guild as a background, dexterity 14. Because she's an elf, for her ancestry I picked +1 to ranged attacks, because daggers can also be thrown. She's got the dual wielding option, and she's equipped with a leather armor and 2 daggers that she attacks with +2 because she uses her dex, and she also's got leather armor, 2 daggers, and a crawling kit, so she is at 10 slots. She can't carry any more. This is my sidekick ranger, Samuel. He is a human, and because there are no talents in this for sidekicks, humans, because of their ambitious ability, they get to pick 2 backgrounds instead of 1. So this is basically their ancestry ability. And so he chose the sharpshooter option, which means he gets +1 attack and damage with bows or ranged weapons. And I chose for him the backgrounds, because he's a human, Ranger and Scout. So he will be my scouting, foraging Ranger type sidekick. So he also's got leather armor, a longbow and a long sword, and a crawling kit, and he attacks with a longbow with +3 with 1d8 +1, and his longsword +0 with 1d8 damage. And this is my party. Sidekick Thief, Sidekick Mage, Sidekick Ranger, main Fighter. And this is my marching order. I figured when we set up combat, this is how we start. So the spellcaster is protected in the back, and the Ranger sort of, because he's also an archer and he moves swiftly and may scout ahead. So he's a little off to the side from the main party so that he can shoot his bow without us interfering, and that he also is free to move to maybe keep his distance, whatever. So this will be my standard marching order. Yeah, so this is basically it. And we start the first day, but I'm not counting days. We start the first day with the first round with the movement phase. So we get movement points, but we are in Cameron. This is where you start, because we don't have any quests yet, so it does not make sense to go anywhere. So we will just stay in the city, and here I got a little log for pool money and XP and stuff. And so we just stay in the city and move right into the action phase, meaning every one of my heroes can take one action. And then we will have a city encounter. All right, so what do we want to do? We got a pool money of 20 gold pieces. And I think it would be great if Rio, so I'm going by pool money, if Rio, my fighter, also had a ranged weapon besides his dagger. So he will go and buy weapons, gear, and other equipment. And it states here in the action description, only one character in the party needs to take this action, but all characters are present during the action and can buy any item, armor, potion, and weapon listed in the Shadowdark RPG rules at their listed price. And for 100 gold pieces, you can buy a master-crafted melee weapon, any kind. And it grants +1 attack and damage, but it's not a magical weapon, so it does not overcome magical immunities. And for 50 gold pieces, you can silver a standard weapon, making it more effective against certain creatures. And for 50 gold pieces, you can also buy a horse if you want to buy horses. So, and some other stuff, but you need a lot more money for that. So I will, so Rio will take the action to shop for equipment, and I would see if I can get a bow for him. Let's see in the gear section here. The gear section, I should put a crawling kit here. Let me put this card in here. So a longbow is 8 gold pieces, 1d8 two-handed. Yeah, 8 gold pieces. So Ryu, he will go shopping. He will use 8 from the party gold pool money to buy a longbow. So the pool money is at 12, and he gets a longbow, which takes up a slot. Thankfully, he's got strength 14, so he and in this game I will not track ammunition because I don't want to do too much bookkeeping. And he will attack +4 because 3 dex, and he rolled +1 to melee and ranged attacks, so +4, dealing the 8 points of damage. That's his action. All right. Elira Shadow, she will just use the time to pick some pockets. So there are some flavor things here. You try to lift some purses. Succeed at a DC 12 dex check. If you succeed, gain 2d6 gold pieces. So because she's got Thieves Guild, I will give her advantage. And and I gotta pass a DC 12, and I rolled a 2d6 with it. So let's see, she's got +2 dex. This doesn't count. Oh, look at this, natural 20 and 8. So that one is a 6, and that one. So pool money is plus 10 gold. So 22. That's her action. And this is just for fluff and flavor. If you're wondering, well, why don't you just stay in the city then and do this action all the time? Yeah, this is because also in the city you have encounters, and of course you also have negative encounters in the city, so you can be robbed, you can be attacked by ruffians. So it is basically not a sure thing to just stay in the city and do this action all the time. This is just for like fluff and flavor, to get some money, to get you back on your feet. But in order to really progress in the game, you should still, of course, go on quests and slay monsters and stuff. But you can play it however you want. If you add something here, maybe like an encounter if you fail or whatever, but this is not what is intended. All right, so that was her. And of course, these actions are also all optional. You don't have to do one of these actions. All right, so our ranger, Samuel, with his longbow, he will take part in a ranged weapon competition. So there are a lot of adventurers flocking to the city because of the call for adventurers that was put out. So, and this is, of course, it's a pretty busy city marketplace, and these adventurers, they're constantly like competing with each other. So there's always some sort of competition going on. So he just takes up another adventurer on his challenge. They want to determine who is the better archer, and so he will take part in a ranged weapon competition, and it states wager up to 25 gold pieces, can't wager more, and make a successful ranged attack versus AC 16. If you succeed, win your wager. If you fail, you lose. All right, so he will wager 5 gold pieces from the pool money and try to get an 16. He's a sharpshooter, so he attacks +3 and needs a 16. And he rolls a 7. So 5 gold pieces down the drain, and the other adventurer makes fun of him. Ha! You should practice some more before you head out into the wilderness. All right, this leaves our elven wizard, and she performs on the street. You attempt to make money with a performance. Succeed at a DC 12 charisma check. If you succeed, gain... Oh no, wait, she does not do that because we want quests. So she checks the notice board. So she gets a quest from the notice board. So there's a notice board in the town square, and you roll 3d12. And these are the quests posted. They refresh at the start of a new round, but you can only have 3 active quests at a time. So let's see what is offered this round. It is 2, 8, and 11. And I think it is better if I do this miniature page thing here, so then I can find things in the document more easily going by the pictures. So this is the notice board. What do we have? 2, 11, and 8. And these quests are a little bit like those quests you would find in video games, like fetch and transport quests and stuff. All right, so the quest notices. Number 2, brave adventurers needed. I am currently working on a very delicate experiment, and I need some special ingredients for a potion. To anyone who will bring me 3 doses of spider silk, I will pay 180 gold pieces. The spider silk of giant spiders is needed. And how this works is, if you take the notice, you accept the quest, and then you generate a pair of coordinates where you will certainly find the quest encounter during the encounter phase. So you have a goal where you can move to, but you can also complete the quest through random encounters. And then it says that you also need, of course, when you defeat a giant spider, and there are 3 locations, you also have to succeed at harvesting the silk glands from a defeated spider with a DC 9 wisdom or intelligence check. And if you fail to harvest enough, you can generate a new quest location. So we will take this quest. So I got a quest log here, and we will take quest 2, and that is the spiders. So let's see, we take the notice. I will generate the coordinates in a second. So quest number 8. Oh, a guard commission. Eradicate goblin pests. Hail adventurers. Those goblin pests breed like rabbits. If there's any chance to keep this land safe, we need to control their numbers. To any party of adventurers that brings the captain of the guard 6 goblin heads, the city will pay the sum of 120 gold pieces. And the quest encounter here would be 6 goblins. So a fight against 6 goblins. 6 goblins could prove a little too much. Let's see, what is the other quest? 11. Ooh, that is an ogre. Monster Slayer with anatomic proficiency needed. To complete a rare potion, I need the eye of an ogre. To the party of adventurers that brings me this ingredient, I will pay 120 gold pieces. And the quest encounter will be an ogre, and then you have, of course, to harvest the eye at the quest location. I think because of the action economy, the ogre would actually be better than the 6 goblins. A little bit metagaming here. So I will also take the ogre quest, which is quest 11, ogre. And I will not take the goblin quest yet. Doesn't matter, because you can only have 3 quests, 3 active quests. And so I just want to leave 1 quest slot open, if you will, to see what else might come up. All right, so let's generate the coordinates. And the green die is in front. So for the spider quest first, green die in front, that is 2 and 1. 2 and 1. 2 and 1. Oh, this is way up here. 2, 1. All right, I mark this with a non-permanent marker. So I put this in a document sheet, and I note this 0201, the coordinates in my quest log. All right, so pretty far away, and we have to go through swamp. So actually not that great, but that's how it is, because you always have the chance also to complete this quest by just looking for random encounter spiders. So let's see. And the ogre quest, green and is in front, 9 and 1. This is actually better. This is up here, but it is through the plains. We can go through the plains. Let me check. Can you see this entire map? I think you don't see the upper part of it. Let me get this a little bit further down. I think this is better. Yes. All right, so this is 910901. All right, so now we got all our actions. I got a bow. And now we go into the encounter phase. So encounter phase is just you roll 1d20, you see what happens. And of course it depends on the terrain. A 2. See, this is what I mean. A thief tries to pick your pocket. Pick 1 character who must succeed at a DC 15 wisdom check, or the party money, loses a total of 3d6 gold pieces. All right, so when you got to do a check, you can choose which character tries this, and if he succeeds, basically the party succeeds, unless it is stated differently in the description. So you know what? Rio, he's got wisdom +1, and he's also a street urchin, so he knows the methods. He grew up in the city, so I'll grant him advantage. And this is not set in stone. The document says use your best judgment. As usual, if you got a fitting background, you have advantage. So I think if you are an experienced role player and if you like play this with a group of friends just to have some fun and play some structured Shadowdark cooperatively, I think this wouldn't be a problem. And it's also not really dramatic for game balance if you are a little bit lenient when it comes to granting yourself advantage. So Rio, he's got sharp senses, but not sharp enough. 3 and 9, so we just made some money, so now we lose some money. 3d6 gold pieces. Let's roll yellow dice because of their gold pieces. That's fun. While we are standing at the notice board in this crowd of adventurers who looks at the notice board, a little thief, a little street rat, seizes the opportunity and swiping 7 gold coins from us without us noticing. So our party money is down to 10 gold pieces. Alright, so that's the encounter phase, and now the resting phase. So now the day comes to an end, and the resting phase in town is like so. Let me the resting phase here. Alright, the resting phase in a town. Resting phase. As the sun is about to set, it's time to rest or make camp. Every character in your party must consume a ration. Rations can be shared. If you are in a city, you can choose to pay 5 silver pieces per character instead of consuming a ration for a warm and decent meal in a tavern. So you gotta eat. We will do that. If a character cannot consume a ration or meal, they will not get the benefit of a rest. So this is Shadowdark rules as written. You gotta eat a meal in order to be able to regenerate lost spells and hit points. So you eat a meal or ration. And if you don't, you will not get the benefit of a rest and you become weaker. You lose 1 point of strength and constitution at the start of the next round. And of course, like resting rules as written, a successful rest also restores all stat damage. So if you then eat a meal and complete a successful rest, you're back to full strength. Okay, and if we are in a town, it says it here, in a city, of course you can't make camp in the city and you can't sleep in the streets. It says you need to pay 1 gold piece per character. And if this sounds expensive, imagine this bustling city, adventurers coming to the city from all over the place. Of course, the town is packed and the taverns are full and the rooms are scarce. So they, of course, want to make some money out of it as well. So it is 1 gold piece per character and for a nice tavern room and a safe and secure rest. However, if you can't afford a room, you can sleep in the common room of a tavern free of charge, but you don't get the benefits of a rest in this case. So if you don't really need to heal or regenerate, you could save the money and sleep in the common room. However, you still need to eat, because if you don't eat, you become weaker. So what I will do, everybody will get a nice meal. So we find a nice tavern, everybody gets a meal. So it's 2 gold total, because 5 silver per character. And then we will just sleep on a straw mat in the common room, because we are still, so we are at 10 gold pieces and now we are at 8 gold pieces pool money. So we all get a nice warm stew, fresh baked bread and nice ale. So, and then we take a rest, and then at the next day we are ready to go. And we start the movement phase, and I will use my 4 movement points to move through the wilderness. And by streamlined compared to Explorers of the Untamed Wilds, I mean you don't roll for every hex, you just move 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the movement phase. Then again you go into the action phase, and the action phase is entirely optional. But of course I will take an action, because I got a ranger here. He will forage for food and water. It says the character taking this action must succeed on a whiz or in check. The DC is determined by the current terrain, and in grassland it's a DC 12. And it says if the character succeeds, every party member gains a ration and refills their water skin. So I did this on purpose, not like that you roll, because like if you're successful with this action, every party member gains a ration, but then again you have to spend one during your rest, so it is plus minus 0. So basically if you're successful foraging for food and water, you don't need to consume your rations, and as long as you're successful you also don't need to do bookkeeping with crossing off rations and stuff. So and should one character fail, another character can try again, because everybody can take his own action, and you can of course take also the same action. So intelligence or wisdom check, and because he is a ranger and a scout, he will get advantage, but he does not have a bonus, but he does get advantage. So Samuel, he'll go forage for food and water. That's his action. And a 15. So he manages to get some nice game, a couple of rabbits and a couple of berries, and he prepares them. And so we are good food-wise. So that was his action. Ariane, the wizard, she wants to forage for herbs. So you gotta say if you want to forage for herbs or crafting supplies, and you need herbs to brew a healing potion. You can brew healing potions, and it's a DC 10 plus danger level, and the danger level is always 1 during the plane, so it's a DC 11, and she needs to succeed on an int or whiz check. So her intelligence is plus 2, and it's a DC 11. Yes, 18. All right, 18. So now there is a little bit of bookkeeping because of the slot mechanic. So she gets 1d6 unit of herbs, 2, and it says here that 5 units of herbs take up 1 gear slot. But since her slots are full, she will give the herbs to Rio. And so I just put down herbs in 1 slot with a colon behind it, 2, so I know that there's still room left. You need 3 herbs to brew a potion. So that was her action. Then Reconnaissance. Our thief, Elira Shadow, she will take the Reconnaissance action. Because she's a thief, I will grant her advantage, but she does not have any bonuses. However, she needs to succeed at 2 checks. She needs Dex and Wisdom, because she needs to sneak and spot. So let's do Dex first. Dex, she's got plus 2. It is DC 15. Dex. Yes, Dex is successful, 14. And now Wisdom. Yes, 16. All right, so she's successful. This is great. And we would have 1 action left, because Rio, my main character, my PC, he didn't do anything yet, but I don't want to do anything because I want to showcase some more of this game, and so I am going straight into the encounter phase, and now I get to roll 2d20 and choose the result because of my successful Reconnaissance action. So 2d20, 1 and 2. So let's check 1 and 2, and then I can choose. So let me get my document, Plains and Grassland Encounters. All right, so they're both combat encounters. Number 1 is you are approached and surrounded by a pack of 2 hungry wolves. Succeed at a DC 12 Wiz or Charisma check to calm them or face a fight. And encounter 2 is a group of 2 cultists is roaming the lands looking for their next victims to sacrifice. Fight. So this is a definite fight, and this is a fight I can avoid. So I am choosing, of course, encounter number 1. And you are, of course, if you want to play this like a solo role-playing game, free to add as much flavor and story as you want. So what's her name? Elira. So she scouts out ahead, and she sees a group of cultists that also prepares to set up camp because the sun is about to set. So she comes back to the party and steers us clear of these cultists. So we move another way, but we stumbled into the hunting grounds of a small pack of 2 hungry wolves. And this is now where combat starts. And you are of course free to run combat any way you want. Theater of mind, generic tokens, whatever. Preparing for this game, I got out a little assortment of standard pawns. So I will just get 2 wolves here to make it a little more fun to watch. So, but now I just realized that I also need to get some bases, but thankfully, just one second. I also, or don't I'm stupid, I got bases in there, but yeah, so I got bases in the bag, but I also got a bag of bases here. So, 2 hungry wolves, 1, 2. And like I said, combat is resolved using normal Shadowdark rules. So let me put these back here a little that we got more room. So they are growling at us. They are behind this underbrush, so we approach them and they growl at us, and now we still have the chance to calm them using wisdom or charisma. And I usually give choices here of two abilities. And of course, let's see, Samuel, our ranger and scout, he does not get a bonus, but he gets advantage because he's a ranger and scout, and I think an advantage is on average plus 4.5, and a bonus would be plus 2. So I think that's the better choice. So he cautiously gets an arrow out and puts it on his bow, but still tries to calm them with soothing gestures and his voice. And speaking of these checks, this is also by danger level, so the DC is always 10 plus the danger level of the area. But since plains and grasslands are always level 1, I got the DCs pre-calculated. In all the other areas it says 10 plus DL, which stands for danger level. So of course the areas get more dangerous depending on the level. 15, yes. Alright, so he is able to calm the wolves. We slowly back off a little. They back off and then they disappear into the underbrush. Lucky for us. Alright, that was the encounter phase, and now the resting phase. So everybody needs to consume a ration, but thankfully, like I said, we were successful foraging, so everybody gets a ration, everybody uses a ration, plus minus 0, no bookkeeping. Everyone is fed, everyone has their ration. And then in the wilderness, you have to find a secure campsite. Resting phase. In the wilderness, designate one character in your party who tries to find a secure campsite by succeeding at a DC 10 plus danger level wisdom check. So in this case it is wisdom, unless you are in a forest or hill. In a forest or hill terrain hex, the DC to find a secure campsite is DC 18, regardless of the actual danger level. And this is of course because of the Shadowdark, which creeps out of the forest and hills at night. So forest and hills at night are more dangerous. I wanted to keep this little darkness flair. That is the story. And then if you fail at the check, you roll if you face a combat encounter, and if you succeed at the check, you have a safe and secure rest. And in a forest or hill terrain, if you fail the DC 18 check, you have to roll a 5+ for a safe and secure rest. Otherwise, you will have an encounter. All right, so let's see. Again, I can't overuse him enough. Samuel, our ranger and scout. And this is, of course, why I took him with me. He gets advantage, DC 11, but wisdom 0. Let's see. But thankfully 4 and 12, the 12 is enough. So he finds a safe and secure campsite, which means no encounter during the night. We consume the ration that we foraged, and then we start the next day, movement phase, and we use up our movement points. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, action phase. And you can then, of course, streamline it if you have like the same characters doing the same actions every day. So I usually forage for food. So Samuel again forages, hopefully successful, DC 12 in the plains. Yes, lucky, 1 and 12. He barely makes it. So he forages. And now a little metagaming here, but this is like a board game thing. There's also the action of lift morale. Lift morale means, let me read it to you. Lift morale. The character taking this action can entertain, sing, play an instrument, tell jokes, etc. and lift morale by succeeding at a DC 12 charisma check. If successful, every character in the party, including the performing character, gains a luck token if they don't already have one. So standard Shadowdark rules here, 1 luck token at a time. If you are traveling alone, you cannot lift your own morale. You need at least 1 companion to take this action. All right, this is charisma. Nobody has a fitting background. So I don't want to be too lenient regarding backgrounds. Yeah, it doesn't. Let's just say our wizard, she tries to entertain us with a few magic tricks. DC 12 charisma. No. All right, so it's funny, but not that funny. So we don't get a luck token. So we foraged. She tried to entertain because the luck token would be useful for the upcoming combat. Because, of course, you keep it until you use it. And then our thief, she's... Oh. But... yeah, this is, you know, Reconnaissance, because this is, we're not at the quest location yet, because if you're at the quest location during the encounter phase, you don't roll. You certainly encounter the quest encounter, but we are not at the quest location yet, so why not? Our thief, she is still wisdom and dex 15, trying to recon again. So dex first. Yes. And now wisdom. No, 0 bonus, but 15. No. So if you fail one of those tests, 1 and 10, you don't get to roll twice. You need to be successful with both of them. All right, so that's the action phase done. Encounter phase. Only 1 roll this time. We're still in the plains. 5. Plains and grassland encounter number 5. A hunting party of 2 goblins and 1 trained wolf has picked up your trail. Succeed at a DC 12 dex, and in parentheses I put in sneak. Sometimes I do this to make it easier to identify which background might be useful, or wisdom survival check to avoid them or face a fight. So there are certain combat encounters that always happen. There are combat encounters that you can avoid, and then there are also non-combat encounters, positive or negative. So I try to get in some variety here. And yeah. And regarding the difficulty, so this is danger level 1. So and by the one-on-one monster table is like a party level 1 to 3 would be level 1 monster appropriate. So a total of level 4 for a 4 party. So either 2 level 2 monsters, 4 level 1 monsters, but it also warns you to not have too many monsters to swarm the PCs. So 2 goblins and 1 trained wolf is exactly for monster levels, because the goblins are level 1 and the trained wolf is level 2. So I tried to, of course, go by the balancing rules in the Shadowdark. It doesn't always work because there's a huge interval. Like, for example, if your party is like level 4 to 6, the one-on-one monster table says a level 3 monster times 4, so actually you could fight a total of 12 monster levels, and so there's a large gap between party level 0 to 3 and then 4 to 6. So it can be anywhere from 4 to 12 basically, so you will get the idea. It's a little more art than science, but I tried to go by the balancing rules in the book. All right, so let's try to avoid them. Has picked up your trail. And again, only 1 character in the party needs to be successful. Sneak or wisdom survival. So in this case, got to do a little better gaming here. I will pick Elir. Oh no, wait, I can also pick Samuel, because I pick Samuel because it makes more sense, because he's the ranger and scout, and he will choose dexterity because he's got +2, and because he's a ranger and scout, he'll get advantage. So we have a good chance of avoiding these goblins. And we do 13 plus 2 means the same thing. We maybe pick up some chatter or some tracks that we then avoid. So we can avoid them. And if you think this is too easy, keep in mind this is danger level 1, a danger level 1 area. So I wanted, of course, to have some areas where the players feel kind of safe. But like I said, there are also encounters there that can be avoided. For example, if you roll an 8, it just says 2 cultists of Shun the Vile are looking for their next victim's fight, and then you gotta fight 2 cultists. And then if you're unlucky and then you have an unsafe rest, you are wounded, and then you have to face another combat encounter during the night. And then, of course, during the next day, you're also not fully rested. This is where the tend to wound actions comes in. It is a method for you to be able to heal between rests, because otherwise it could get pretty nasty. Believe me. So we had some close calls in the game play tests where we had like 2 or 3 HP, or at least one of us, and then we were praying for a safe and secure rest. All right, so, but this encounter we avoid, and then we go into the resting phase. So we were successful foraging, but let's see if we are also successful finding DC 11 campsite. Again, our ranger, yes, 15 and 18, look at this, even without advantage. So we are lucky, a safe rest. But now the next day, movement phase, we move 1, 2. Now we are in our quest hex, but still there's the action phase before the encounter phase. Once again, our wizard, she tries to lift morale to prepare us for this upcoming combat. So charisma DC 12. Oh, no advantage. She does not get advantage. But let's see. Maybe we're lucky. Yes, 13. All right, so she lifts morale, so we all get a luck token. And I usually use these glass beads for luck tokens. Let's see. One more yellow. All right, so, and I put them on top of the character sheet. So Samuel, he's got the green luck token, it fits. Our elf wizard gets a blue one. And Rio's got a luck token, and Ilya. So we all got a luck token, that's great. That was the action phase. The first action. I could, of course, forage, and if I wouldn't be on camera right now, I would, but this is also like a little showcase thing, so I want to get into the combat. I'm not going to, I think, do any more actions, or because I don't need to tend to wounds, I don't need to do reconnaissance because I will have the encounter. Oh yeah, of course I need still to forage because after the encounter I need to rest. So she lifted morale again. Samuel, our MVP in the wilderness, she's trying to forage for food and water. DC 12 because it's plains. And just out of curiosity, if you're interested, so DC 12 is plains, forests is easy DC 9 because of rich game. Hills, however, is DC 15, swamp is DC 15, and mountains is even DC 18 to be successful with foraging for food and water. And lucky 15. So again, food and water. And because maybe I need them afterwards, our thief, she will look for herbs. She will forage for herbs, but she does not get anything because her background does not fit. So it's a DC 11, 10 plus danger level in this case. And she will get, where is the D6? 1d6 herbs if she's successful. Let's see. Oh, 13, yes, 2 herbs. Those 2 herbs, they go to Rio. So now he is at 4 herbs and he's got room for 1 herb left in his slot. And you need 3 herbs to try to brew a potion. But you can only brew 1 potion per round. So this action, once successful, can be taken only once. It's like a standard healing potion by the book. Alright, so now the encounter phase. We are at the ogre quest location. So, yeah, we set up a combat with an ogre. So the stats are right out of the book here. An ogre is a level 6 monster. So this is a difficult encounter because level 4 for 4 characters level 0 to 3 would be a normal encounter. So I'm just using the stats here as written. And yeah, so we will see. Oh, this doesn't look good. 2 attacks, great club. So what we do need is initiative, and I'm using the Shadowdark or the side-based initiative rules. So I will make a dex check and compare this to the ogre's dex check, and if we succeed, we go first. If the ogre succeeds, well, he is only 1, he will go first, but I hope that we succeed. He's a level 6, so my sleep spell doesn't do me any good. I took the sleep spell for the minor enemies, so let me get out an ogre. So this time there is no dancing around. So this is an ogre from Pathfinder Pawns. So he lairs here, so he just made camp as we spot. So of course this is metagaming that there's this ogre here, so maybe we heard rumors that there's an ogre lair, so that we went there. So he has made camp there, preparing also for the night as we approach in our marching formation like this. Getting ready, arrows, staff, everything at the ready. We got luck tokens, so let's see. Our initiative die is the green one, the ogre is purple, and I will use the character Rio, my main PC, because he's got dex +3 and the ogre only has -1. Alright, so we are lucky. 12 +3 and 4. So yes, side-based initiative. We go first, and because I'm bad at bookkeeping, I will not re-roll every round. This is not the chaos mode in Shadowdark. So we go first, side-based initiative. Alright then. I will go first with my and near for me is 30 feet, so I'm using standard square movement, and I will go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I will move over here and shoot around this corner with my longbow at the ogre. Oh, and it only has an AC of 9, which is great. All right. Let me just jot down the ogre stats here first. Ogre, I only need AC, 9 HP, he's got 30. Then movement near, so normal, 2 attacks, plus 6, 2d6. Alright. So, plus 2, 2d6, times 2, 2 times. Okay. So, Samuel, he shoots his bow. Plus 3, d8 plus 1. Pew! Yes, 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 17 and 8 plus 1 maximum damage. So the ogre is at 21 HP. 9 points of damage. He growls. Alright, so thankfully Rio also got a bow. So he moves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down here and also shoots. And he shoots plus 4 with 1d8. Oh yes, 5 plus 4 is 9. The ogre only has 9. And 6 points of damage. Looking good so far. He's already half dead. And another arrow strikes true in this massive pile of flesh that the ogre is. Alright, then Ariane. She's using magic missile plus 3 with advantage because it's magic missile, dealing 1d4 points of damage. That's one of her spells that she knows. I think magic missile is let me check this real quick. I don't think it, because usually it always hits like in the old version where you don't roll to cast. I don't know if it's got some range limit here. Let me check this real quick. Casting spells, spell list, mage spells. All right, magic missile, do range far. Okay, so that's far because we only have this. You have advantage on your check to cast the spell. 1d4 to one target. Okay, range far should be enough. There's definitely line of sight. I can even move, but I will not. I will just stay where I am. All right. So with advantage and 1d4 points of damage. 1d4 points of damage. So plus 3 versus 9. Oh, no, not versus 9. Spell casting is 10 plus spell level. Stupid. So DC 11 plus 3. Yes, luckily 11 because this one. And 4 points of damage, maximum damage. So we are having a run here. All right, so 11 HP. So while we get this arrow in him, she makes some gestures and utters some arcane words, and the blue bolt of arcane energy strikes through, hitting the ogre. And actually now Elira Shadow, she would be stupid to move into melee, so she will hang back. She moves backwards 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to then be able to to attack if necessary. And now it's the ogre. So the ogre, he just charges forward at the nearest target. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he can just move through this is just, he moves underneath the tree. And with his great club, +2, and Samuel, he's got AC 13. So Samuel, you better are quick on your feet, I hope. Actually, am I missing a die here? D6, the purple one. Yes, here it is. All right, so the ogre, +2, 2d6, and also 2 attacks. Lucky me. 3 + 2. So, but he's still so. The ogre, he goes with his club, and Samuel, he sidesteps. Doesn't really matter because there are no attacks of opportunity. So and moves back. It's just for fluff. So this great club hits the ground, but he not a split second too early or too late. But it's not over yet. Uh, 14 and 9 points of damage. He only has 6 hit points. So, but then the club hits Samuel and throws him, and he is down. So, and if I've looked up these dying rules many times in my other games. So it's Shadowdark as written. So I think now, like I said, side-based initiative. Now it's our turn again. And when it's his turn, or would be his turn, from what I understand, I would then roll the death timer. The first time it's his turn. And then on subsequent turns, I will read it again. Wait a minute. And please, if I'm doing this wrong, please clarify in the comments. Combat, death timer. All right, a character who goes to 0 HP falls unconscious and is dying. All right, so he falls unconscious and is dying. And now it says death timer. A dying character rolls 1d4 plus their con modifier, minimum 1 total, on their turn. They die in that many rounds unless healed or stabilized. So in their turn, when his turn comes up. So we are using side-based initiative, and in side-based initiative, I can choose the order in which they act. So I will, of course, his turn will be last, because then maybe we are successful in bringing down this ogre. So yeah, so he is in this square right now. I'm not going to roll for his death timer yet. I will do this when his turn comes up. So now it'll be Rio will go first, and he will again shoot. And I have to remember luck tokens, but you can't have an enemy reroll, so the luck token would be of no consequence. All right, so Rio. Samuel is on the ground. +4. Yes, critical hit. 20. So that is 4, and I get to reroll this one again. And 5. That is 9, bringing the ogre to 2. And I just realized that I'm at half hit points. I would have made a moral roll, but this is an epic boss battle, so no moral roll, but then I can still move. So I'm trying to get some distance between us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Moving over to here. So that was him. Now so he's got 2 hit points. So magic missile D4. So if she's successful, she's got a 50% chance of taking the ogre down. So Ariane, she will use magic missile +3 versus DC 11, and I might use my luck token if I fail, and with advantage because it's magic missile. Oh, look at this critical hit, 20 and 16. I can double a numerical value. I will double damage. That is 3. I don't know, do I just double it or do I roll? It doesn't matter, it would be dead anyways. I roll, so 3 and 1, that is 4. So she blasts the ogre. We still need to harvest the eye, remember? So that was her turn. So now it'll be Samuel's turn, and oh no, actually it doesn't matter, because then I can stabilize him, but I think I can stabilize him even though if his death counter is not ticking yet. So she will move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and she will try. So Elira Shadow tries to stabilize him, and that is rules as written, a DC 15 in check, and a fitting background grants advantage, but she does not have one. And yeah, so let's see. I'm just rechecking the DC here. Death, stabilize, DC 15 intelligence. Okay. And stops dying but still unconscious. Oh yeah, and then on each of the characters he can rise. Okay. Let's try to stabilize him. DC 15. No int bonus and no nothing, but I got a luck token. No. Reroll luck token. Elira uses her luck token. No. Alright, so doesn't stabilize him. So now it's his turn. Now we determine the death timer. Con is 0, so it's 1d4. Please. And that is the last, so then we are acted, then we'll start a new round. So I'll stay in this round structure until he's either dead or stabilized. 3. Alright, 3. So that was the death counter. Nothing happens this turn because it says on their turn determine the death counter, and then on subsequent turns you can try to stabilize, but then again also it counts down. Alright, so now a new round starts. And now I start with him and try, let's see if he stabilizes. Natural 20 and raises with 1 HP. No. So death timer goes to 2. And then I can try to stabilize him. Int 15. So she will move up. Ariana, our wizard, she moves up and +2 int tries to stabilize him. Yes, 16. So he's stabilized, no longer dying. That's great. So we can disregard the death timer. So now I'm not sure actually because when I was playing Stardark I just injected them a med pack. I'm not sure if you gotta have 1 hit point to benefit from a rest. So let's see if I can figure this out. Resting, or if you can just, like, if you're stable, but I think you're probably resting. It just says, alright, injured characters can rest to recover from their wounds. To rest, a character must consume a ration and sleep for 8 hours. Sleep can be broken, okay. On a failure, the character consumes a ration but gains no benefit from resting. Oh yeah, when you're interrupted. Yeah, okay, so So now I'm on the fence here. It says injured characters. He is injured, but he's stable. So does injured mean at least 1 hit point, but not at 0 hit points. For the purpose of cinematics, I will rule that, and this is, I don't really know this death timer. You know what? Actually, the target stops dying but is still unconscious. I don't know if you could say, all right, he can just, because now he is stable, he can just roll 20. You know what? I say he recovers. So he recovers with 1 hit point. So so we stabilize him, and so he's got 1 hit point now, because we can still have a combat during the rest, and then it'll be pretty bad. But I just think he's stable, so he could just roll until he gets a 20 or whatever. So Samuel is at 1 hit point. And now we still need to harvest the Eye of the Ogre. The Eye of the Ogre. Let me just check the DC. I think it was it a 12? Notice board here. Ooh, ba-boo. Monster Slayer, Eye of the Ogre, DC 10, Intelligence or Wisdom check. All right, a DC 10. So that is Ariana. She is a wizard's apprentice. She knows potions and how to get the ingredients. And she still got her luck token. Yeah, so I will not grant her advantage because of her background. I think this is too far-fetched, but she still got intelligence +2, and she needs a 10. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. 3. All right, re-roll. Luck token. Yes, 14. Oh, but thanks to the luck token. All right, so we harvest the Eye of the Ogre. But the quest is not complete yet. We must return it to the city. So now I said hunter mode. So this is a level 6 monster. So we get 3 XP. We are 4 characters. So I am going to collect these 3 XP for hunter mode in the XP pool. 3 until I can divide them evenly. And because it is a non-animal humanoid monster encounter, he might have some treasure. So let's see. 50-50 chance. Let's roll first if he's got a treasure. Even. If I roll even on a d20, he's got treasure. Yes, even. All right, now treasure table, it's like 270 something. And now I got another question for you who are more familiar with the game. It says treasure 0 to 3. Is that the treasure, or do you use 0 to 3 if your party is 0 to 3, or because if he's a level 6 monster, you would either even use treasure? You know what? I go by danger level. Danger level is 1 of the area. So let me know in the comments. So this is not a thing like in the game I said by the treasure rules as written, but I gotta admit I don't really know how they're written because I haven't checked them a lot. So I'll go 270, maybe it says something, but I'll go by danger level of the area in this game. 270. Treasure overview. All right, it's a driving force, wandering monsters, 50%. So they're all wandering monsters in this game. Treasure table. What the treasure table? The monster uses corresponds to its level. Okay, so a level 2 monster uses treasure. Okay, so then it is a treasure 6 monster. Treasure 6. Okay, great. That's actually pretty nice, but we still need to carry it. A treasure 6 monster. Let's roll. Green is in front. 1, 8, 18. Alright, a mahogany pipe with an ivory inlay worth 25 gold. Alright, so Rio, he's my hauler, even though he doesn't have a con mod, but he's still got slots left. So this pipe, I think, takes up 1 slot. It is a mahogany pipe, 25 GP. Okay, so yeah, maybe he wanted to play a tune before we nasty adventurers killed him and took his eye out. Actually, not very nice. Didn't do anything, and then a bunch of murder hobos comes along, kills him and cuts his eye out. All right, so this concludes the encounter phase, and then we will go into the resting phase. This is interesting now because Samuel is at 1 hit point, and so we will see. Actions are already all done, so we can't really tend to wounds and anything because we are now in the resting phase. But let's see if we can find a secure campsite. And once again, our MVP, even though he's at 1 hit point, he is at 1 hit point. Samuel, can you... I know you're hurting, but can you find us a secure campsite? I try. Right, DC 11, advantage. Yes, whew. I think there is pretty good on the spot. We disregard the 1, it's advantage. So now we are lucky. This is what I mean. If we would be unlucky, now we would face another combat encounter with him at 1 hit point. But we're lucky, and we have a successful rest. We foraged during the round, so we do not need to consume 1 of our rations, and we would start the next round. But I will conclude this here. I'm well over an hour, but that's all right because I wanted to showcase this game and I really enjoy playing it. And so I also will continue this on this channel. So this will be sort of like a role-playing light series that I will be alternating with my Star Knave series. And who knows, maybe I eventually also get back to keep on the Shadowfell, but no guarantees. I don't know why, but I'm just not feeling it. Keep on the Shadowfell. I don't know. Maybe because it's a dungeon crawl adventure. When I was playing Reavers of Harkenwold, this was more like an overland, and you could add more. I don't know. I can't really describe it. It's yeah. Anyhow. Yeah, so this concludes this product showcase series kick-off video. If you like it, please do pick up the game. I put the link in the description. It supports the channel, and all the stuff, not stuff, the money I make from my sales, of course, it goes back into the hobby. So I either support other creators on drive-thru by buying their stuff, or I get stuff that makes watching these videos nicer. For example, this nice battle mat here I got from Loki Battle Mats in this box, The Long Road, an RPG toolkit. As a matter of fact, I can show you the cover, and this is really, I think, great value because you got some nice overland maps. You got encounter cards, however, for 5th edition, an adventure in here, and you can also use this box as a tavern battle mat. Yeah, so this is the stuff I buy, and I will showcase it on the channel. So yeah, if you want to support my work, please pick up this product, and I think you also get a lot of fun out of it. And if you enjoy what you see here, please do like and subscribe. And as always, thank you for watching, and stay safe and stay healthy, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.